Thank you very much, Senator, for being with us. You and prominent American politicians, mostly Democrats and some Republicans, suggested that called for withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq. And opinion polls show that American people favors this idea. Why still we keep our troops in Iraq?
It's the leadership of this country, basically the Bush administration, and unfortunately the timidity of the the Democratic members of Congress who could stop this. They want to control the oil, and that's what it's all about. And that's tragic because we're using our treasure to get control of literally the Titanic. We have to get off of oil as a society, and I mean a global society, as soon as possible. And so fighting over the wealth of Iraq is, one, not right. Two, it's destabilized the region. And so I have no hope to see a solution to this problem until George Bush leaves office.
You are suggesting that the United States could use some help from neighboring countries of Iraq and to bring stability and peace to the region. Could you a little bit more elaborate on that? For instance, what Turkey can do to help?
Well, Turkey can do a great deal because they obviously have Kurds, and there's obviously a problem with Iran, Iraq, and Turkey in that regard about all of these Kurds who, in many respects, want to have their own country. That may not be feasible. It may not be good policy for Turkey. I don't know. I don't claim to be an authority on that precise question, but I do know that Turkey is a very important country. I've been to Istanbul, and I think it's a fabulous country. But now, with respect to Iraq, they can play a role, but so can Iran, so can Saudi Arabia, so can Perez in Syria. Saudi Arabia and Syria have influence with the Sunnis. Iran has influence with the Shia. And so what we need, the United States needs to do, is pull out our troops. Totally, not over the horizon, out of the region, bring them all home, and turn to these regional powers, Turkey, Iran, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and even Israel, and ask them, help us. We messed up. We made a tragic mistake in invading Iraq and destabilizing this fragile area of the world. And we should go hat in hand to these people and say, we made a mistake. We need your help. And then stop sanctioning Iran. Stop sanctioning Perez. And we're not sanctioning Saudi Arabia, but we get some Americans, intellectuals, neocons, that want to invade Saudi Arabia and get control of their oil. This is appalling. This is American imperialism and triumphalism at its worst. We're no better than anybody else in the world, and we need to recognize that. And we need to pull back our militaristic posture in the world. And we can begin to do that by getting all of our troops out of Iraq, turning to these people who know more about the region than we do, and ask for help. Because Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria, they all have a stake, and so does Israel, have a stake in the stability of the area. We, the United States of America, have destabilized the area. And once we get the help of these regional interests, we can now go to Russia and China, the EU and Japan, and ask them to participate with us to rebuild Iraq and to help us and set the stage to go after a peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians.
According to opinion polls in Turkey, since 2003, there has been a steady decline in American government's popularity, and Turkey is not the only place this happens. And in your opinion, specifically, what should be done in order to win hearts and minds in the region? Do you think America's image can easily recover again?
It can be recovered, but not easily, and I don't see anybody running for president that has the capacity to do that, because those running for president really want to continue this concept of American imperialism, where we're the superpower of the world, the only one left, and we're going to use our power in our judgment the way we think. Well, that's wrong. We have no right to invade other countries. We have no right to threaten other people who, with or without nuclear devices. And so this is the wrong approach. Little wonder that the people in the world are afraid of us. The African continent is rife with problems, and they don't want any help from Americans. Does that convey a message to how bad things are for American? And it's the American government. I don't think that the world, at least that I've noticed as I've traveled around Europe and other parts of the world, that they hold this against the people of the United States. It's the leadership of the United States. Whether it is George Bush or Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan, you just keep going back down the line and you see this American sense of superiority. That's the first thing that angers other governments and other peoples, that we Americans think that we're so better than everybody else. We can tell them how to live, how to run their country. My God, we can't even do that for ourselves. We're a society that's failing in this country. Our education system is in terrible want. Our healthcare system is in terrible want. Our bridges are falling down. Our infrastructure is crumbling, and then we torture people. How can America ever stand up and take the moral ground and say, you shouldn't torture people? We've done it, and this will be a long time living that one down. And I become president, we will live that down very quickly.
I want to go back to Iran and Syria issue. You are also against of military confrontation with Syria and Iran. What you suggest is more diplomacy with those countries. Do you think there is a role to play for countries like Turkey in order to bring all sides to the table?
Yes, there is. I think that with respect, Turkey is not a nuclear power. I have no knowledge that they desire to become a nuclear power. But Iran gets the bomb. Turkey's going to feel a little anxious about that. Russia has the bomb on their other border. Israel has the bomb. What we have to do is get off of nuclear. And since Turkey is playing such a significant role in the region, and they're not going after nuclear devices, I think that they can play a role essentially pointing the finger at other countries like Iran, not in an insulting fashion, but say, why do you need the nuclear device? Well, of course they need it because they're afraid of us. We've indicated that we're trying to destabilize our government. How bad that is for us to think that we can spend millions of dollars to destabilize the government of Iran. Now, I'm not fond of the government, but I don't think we have any right to do that. And I know a little bit about history, and that is that at one point there were basically in the Middle East, you could include Turkey, and you can say, well, there are 3 democracies in the Middle East if you consider Turkey in the Middle East, and many times I don't. It's right on the bridge. But there was Israel, Turkey was a democracy, and also in 1953, so was Iran. And who destabilized that democracy? Who destroyed the democracy of Iran? The United States of America through our CIA. This is abominable. We go out and create enemies in the world. We don't need to do that. And in one of the debates I was asked a question, who are the enemies that you view in the world? I don't have any enemies in the world. I'm president of the United States. There are no enemies in the world for us. We deal in an unstable world. We got problems with terrorism, but we can handle terrorism for what it is. It's a criminal act. It is not a war, but by making it a war, then we will have war for perpetuity, because we've had terrorism with the human race since the beginning of civilization. And so now it's a war. That means we have to be in a warfare state for my lifetime, your lifetime, and our children's lifetime. This is sick. This is very sick in terms of leadership, and I would hope that the American people in this coming presidential election would recognize that the words I articulate to some sound extreme. They're only extreme because they're logical. What's extreme is people thinking that you got to go kill other people, that you got to go into somebody else's country and tell them how to run their country. How would Americans feel about that? I don't think very well.
Speaking of democracy, I would like to ask a couple of questions about U.S. presidential elections. How do you evaluate pre-election process, debates, and primaries? Do you think America sets a good example for a functioning democracy to Middle East beyond?
It sets an example. How good it is remains to be seen. It's the example that it's important for people seeking high office to confront each other, to ask each other policy questions. I'm not talking about their personal lives. That's got nothing to do with it. But on policy questions, like a question that I would ask Hillary and Obama and the others. Why is it that the United States of America, as a matter of policy, has to spend more on defense than everybody else put together? Well, who are we afraid of, Hillary? Who are we afraid of, Mr. Senator Obama? You know, you say we need 100,000 more American troops. I don't think we need any more American troops. We need to get out of Iraq. We need to become a peaceful nation. We're not. And so I just think that we have some serious problems in that regard. So the debate could bring that about, but that's not the way the debates are conducted. The United States of America has information. It's controlled by 5 major corporations. What Americans learn about what's going on in the world is filtered through 5 corporations, 5 major corporations. That means that the American public, by and large, is somewhat uninformed, and it shows in the way they react to policies. And so now the networks are now having debates. Well, they have a debate. They give you 1 minute to answer a complex question. Well, you can't do that in 1 minute, as you're demonstrating with this interview. And so what happens is the politicians develop little honed phrases that just don't tell the people very much. It just tells them what they want to hear. And that is not a, but what they're doing, they're creating an appetite for debates. And with this appetite, the people will demand more information from their candidates. But what you see happening is millions and millions of dollars are being raised so that they can, one, manipulate the constituency of the people running for office. Now, we all know from an academic point of view that it's money, the corruption, money corrupts the political process. And so the United States of America today, through our political, through the networks, are defining who is likely to become president, because that's the person that has raised the most money. So what they're really saying is the people who have the most money in this campaign are the most corrupt, and that's who should become president.
Not the ideas, but the money.
Pardon me?
Not the ideas, but the money.
The money, because all you got to do is you want to find out what kind of government you're going to have after the presidential election. Follow where that person got all the money, and you'll see what the kind of government that's going to have. And if it's Hillary, you're going to have the same thing as you had with Bill Clinton. You know, you're getting 2 for the price of 1. And then with Obama saying that, you know, he's getting a lot of money. And they say, oh, the money's coming from small donations. That's not so. 89% of the money that Hillary has collected has come from donors $500 and above. 68% for Obama. Now, the kids in college are not donating $500 a pop. No, money is very corrupting, and unfortunately, that's the problem we have in our country.
In U.S. media, you are seen as a candidate from outside the mainstream. What does outsider status mean to you?
Well, it's really very tragic in the use of words. You're quite right. I'm outside the box. I believe that the American people should be brought into government and be able to vote on American people, not just the Congress. The American people should be able to vote on every one of the policy issues that affect our lives. I have unlimited faith in the American people. Now, the process that we use isn't that way. It's the Congress that makes the decisions. And if our society is not functioning very well, and government's not, which it's not functioning very well, then who's at fault? It's been those people who've had control of the leadership of this country. Now, we Americans like to point to South America and other countries are not doing it well. The whole human race has problems with the issue of governance. What I'm trying to bring about in this campaign with the National Initiative, which is a federal ballot initiative to empower people to make laws, this is an effort to change the paradigm of human governance, to take representative government and now partner it with the people directly in lawmaking, not just in passing laws and having the people have to obey the laws. Let the people participate in the lawmaking process. Will I be successful? I don't know, but I do know this. If I can get this going in the United States of America, it will go around the world like wildfire. People in Turkey will want to be able to make laws directly with their Turkish parliament. And every country will want to do this. And so this is where we have to come to with the human race. Dwight Eisenhower made a great statement. He said, someday the people are going to want peace so bad, they're going to push the government aside to get at peace. And the only tool that the people can use, short of revolution, violent revolution, is to turn around and equip themselves to become lawmakers so that they can enjoy the power. Cicero once made a statement a long time ago that freedom is participating in power, and the people do not participate in power. They give their power away on election day.
Thank you very much, Senator, for your time and for your comments. Senator.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. This is Mike Gravel. Whether you're interested or just curious to know more about me, go to my website, join me, enter your email, send me some questions, learn more about my campaign. Please do it now. Be a part of our ripple effect.